Aloha, and welcome to the Honolulu Central Seventh-day Adventist Church. As you are well aware by now, our state, in just a few weeks, has gone from business as usual down to groups of 100, to groups of 25, groups of 10, and now we're being told to stay at home. So we're doing everything we can to try to bring you words of encouragement during this time of isolation. We do want to let you know that whatever the state may say and whatever the church may have to do as a consequence, God is with you through all things and at all times. In addition to this service, which you may be watching on our website or through YouTube or other places, we do encourage you to go to our website if you're not there already. It's www.honcentralsda.org. That's honcentralsda.org. Once you're there, you'll see updates on many different ways that we're trying to reach out to our church family and as far beyond as we possibly can. Also there, you will see a link for online giving. And while we know there are many challenges, we hope that you remember to be faithful with your tithes and offerings during this time as well. Again, that's www.honcentralsda.org. Have you ever felt alone, isolated? Have you ever felt like your task was too big or you just weren't strong enough for what God was asking you to do? Have you ever felt hopeless and a sense that God was asking you to do more than what you felt you were capable of? We're going to begin a series in the life and ministry and times of the judge by the name of Gideon. His story can be found in Judges chapter 6, if you'd like to go there now and follow along as we go in this sermon. But Gideon faced very difficult times. We're going to look at that in just a moment. But before that, I want to take you to a little bit different scene. It's October 17th, 1924. The scene is St. Paul's Cathedral in London. And there in St. Paul's Cathedral, there is a banquet being thrown. There are many distinguished guests. The King, King George V, is in attendance. The Prime Minister, Ramsay MacDonald, and his entire cabinet are in attendance. There are many other dignitaries from all over the nation and other places from around the world. What are they celebrating? They're celebrating the failure of earlier that year, the third attempt to try and climb Mount Everest. George Mallory, the celebrated mountaineer from England, and his friend Sandy Irvine, climbing partner, had died making an attempt at the summit. The group is gathered in honor of them and the other men who died giving their lives trying to conquer this mountain. The task at hand seemed impossible. And so Israel, just like those men celebrating, Israel, while not celebrating, is facing an impossible task in the book of Judges chapter 6. The Midianites have come in. They've run rampant all over the land. They take anything they want. The children of Israel never know when the Midianites are going to come and take what little bit they have. The Bible sets the scene by showing a man by the name of Gideon, and he's in the winepress that belongs to his father. And in that winepress, he's trying to thresh just a little bit of grain, hoping to get enough to be able to get by through the hard times that have been brought on by this occupation. As he works, a messenger of the Lord, an angel, shows up on the scene. In Judges chapter 6 and verse 12, the angel says to him, "The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor." The angel shows up out of nowhere, and imagine how scared Gideon must be. He thinks he's all by himself. He thinks he's alone. He doesn't want anybody else around. And this messenger of the Lord shows up and says, "The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor." Now let's stop there for just a moment. I have to think I have to wonder what goes through Gideon's mind as he hears this message, as he hears these words. Because the truth is, he wants to be all alone. He is all alone. And this angel calls him a mighty man of valor. Sure doesn't look like a mighty man of valor. He's hiding away as best he can to thresh out a little bit of grain. Nothing mighty, nothing valorous about any of that. The angel gives him this message anyway. And in verse 13, Gideon answers. Gideon said to him, "Please, my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has this happened to us? And where are all his wonderful deeds that our fathers recounted to us, saying, 'Did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt?' But now the Lord has forsaken us and given us into the hand of Midian." Gideon felt all alone. He felt isolated. He felt abandoned by God. Yes, he'd heard the stories of how God was mighty and powerful. Yes, he'd heard the stories about how God had miraculously brought plagues on the Egyptians and spared the Israelites. How eventually Pharaoh had relented and allowed the children of Israel to leave the land. How Pharaoh had quickly changed his mind, and when the Israelites were pinned against the Red Sea, how God had miraculously parted those waters. He heard the stories of manna, of water, of safety from the serpents and scorpions in the wilderness. He'd heard the stories of how the children of Israel had come into the land and had defeated nations stronger than their own. He'd heard story after story after story, and yet there he was, abandoned, alone, isolated. You know, right now, there's many of us that are feeling alone and abandoned and isolated. This disease, the coronavirus, has caused us to be shut up in our homes and in our very immediate surroundings in our community. It's easy to feel alone. It's easy to begin to wonder if anyone cares or if God is with us. And into that very situation, here comes the messenger of the Lord saying to Gideon, "You are not alone. God is with you, mighty man of valor." That's God's message for us. We are not alone. As Gideon considers what the messenger is saying, the discussion continues. It says in verse 14 of Judges 6, "And the Lord turned to him and said, 'Go in this might of yours and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Did I not send you?' And Gideon said to him, 'Please, Lord, how can I save Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest in the tribe of Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.' The Lord said to him, 'But I will be with you, and you shall strike the Midianites as one.'" I want you to notice how the messenger of the Lord, their answers are the same. No matter what kind of doubt Gideon throws up, they come back with the same answer. The Lord is with you. You are not alone. The Lord is with you. You will be strong. The Lord is with you. You will be victorious. The messenger of the Lord and the Lord himself do not answer the direct cry of Gideon. They do not answer the questions of Gideon. Instead, they say, "It is enough that God is with you." I remember once being all alone, feeling weak, isolated.